Hello students, today I'm going to start with chapter 7, that is control and coordination. Initially I'm going to introduce this chapter to you, and by the end of this video you will be able to know what is control and coordination and its significance in living organism. In the previous chapter we have learned about various processes like digestion, respiration, circulatory system, and the excretory system, which helped in the maintenance and sustenance of life in a living organism. And we have started with a notion that if something is moving or showing some kind of a movement, it is alive. Some of these movements occur in response to the growth. For example, when a seed germinates, the seedling moves, and with due course of time it pushes the soil and comes out of the soil. But these movements are basically seen in case of plants where the movement occur in response to the growth. In many animals and some plants, the movement does not occur in response to growth. There, the movement occur in response to the change in the environment. And those movements are actually advantageous to an organism in order to adapt to the changing environment. For example, if you see a cat running, it is quite possible that this cat might be chasing a mouse in order to satisfy her hunger. Another example is chewing of curd. Curd is basically a partially digested food which comes out from the first part of the stomach of the ruminants like cattle, like cows and buffaloes, which aids in further chewing and which further helps in the process of digestion. Another example is the movement of your eyes whenever a bright light is focused onto your eyes. Another example is movement of your hand whenever you touch a hot object. In all these examples, you are able to see that there is a change in the environment, like a hot object and bright sunlight, or the curd, or a mouse near the cat. So, because of the change in the environment, there was a movement which is seen in the hand, eyes, and the mouth of the buffalo and the running cat. And there was a need to for such kind of a movement because they need to adapt to the changing environment. For example, if you will not remove your hand when your hand by chance get touched to a hot object, it is quite possible that it gets burnt. So such movements which occur in response to the changing environment, they they are the movements which tries to adapt to the changing environment. So whenever there is a change in the environment, a movement occurs in response to the changing environment, which is also called as stimulus. Those movements which occur in response to the environment has to be carefully controlled. What does it mean? For example, if you see this child is whispering onto the ears of another child. She is not talking loudly in order to not to disturb the class. If she starts talking loudly, there is a possibility that the teacher might scold the child, and because of which her actions are actually totally controlled. Likewise, in living organism, there are systems which provide such control and coordinated activities. There are organ and tissues which work in a coordinated manner in order to produce a controlled and an efficient response. Okay, so that is what is control and coordination, where our systems which are present in the living organism, they work in a coordinated manner in order to produce a controlled and an efficient response whenever there is a change in the environment, in order to better adapt to the situations. Therefore, in a multicellular organism, there are specialized tissues which are used to provide such control and coordinated activities. And this is what we are going to learn in this chapter, that is control and coordination in animals and plants. And in animals, nervous system and the endocrine system produces such control and coordination. And in case of plants, the plant hormones, which are also called as phytohormones, they provide such control and coordinated activities. So here is the gist of the topics that has to be covered. The first one, in case of animals, we have to study the various parts of the nervous system and their role in control and coordination with the help of structural and functional unit called as neurons. Secondly, we have to study the types of endocrine glands in our endocrine system and their role in control and coordination with the help of chemical messenger secreted by these glands called as hormones. In case of plants, we have to study the different types of movements like tropic and the nastic movements. And lastly, we have to study the role of plant hormones in the directional or growth movements. Thank you, and stay tuned for part 2 of the video. In case of any query, you can put down your questions in the comment section and I would love to answer those questions. Thank you.